go. Good morning and welcome to MAQ TV as we continue our series of interviews leading up to what is expected to be a very successful major cricket league in Pakistan. Of course, this is a process that has been guided by Cricket Management Group, and joining us today is one of the senior members of that group, one of the senior men in CCUSA and the Cricket Management Group, Shiraz Najam, out of Chicago. Actually, he's in Pakistan at the moment, and he has kindly decided to spend some time with us. How are you enjoying Pakistan, Shiraz?
Much better than Chicago right now. We know that's about 74 degrees, 7 p.m. I hear there's a lot of snow in Chicago, so I'm enjoying the weather.
Well, I will trade Chicago's weather for what we have here in the Caribbean because, we are not usual with snow, but I guess that is something that you probably have gotten so much snow that you want to be in the warmth of Pakistan. But I think more importantly, you were enjoying your time there. I've seen your photos and stuff. You're enjoying your time with your family in Pakistan.
Yes, and while COVID is a real struggle for a lot of people, it also does provide an opportunity to spend time with family, with people working remotely. Now you can be a global worker. You can be anywhere and still be able to perform your duties and discharge your responsibilities. So that has provided me, along with many others, an opportunity to spend some extended time back home, which is very rare, considering that we've got a limited vacation pool that we pull from.
Yes, and what's the situation in Pakistan in terms of the COVID?
It's much better than the US, and there's not a lot that you can be said about things being better in Pakistan than the US, but COVID, they've done a very wonderful job of isolating some of the high volume areas, in terms of population and spread, and they've kind of tried to address those things in isolation. So there's no big lockdowns. There's because we have to worry about the economy and the people who are struggling every day to make daily wages to be able to survive. So it's a little bit of a different outlook to COVID being here, and I think they're doing a wonderful job considering the resources that are at their disposal.
And of course, in Pakistan, something very special is going to come across in April, and that's the Major Cricket League. You're of course part of that. How excited are you about that project?
It is phenomenal. I think when people think about cricket and test playing nations, having been here for so long, it has given me a great perspective how there is such a huge gap for organized cricket in Pakistan, considering all the venues that are available, the interest that is available, the skill set, the raw talent. I think there is a channel that has been missing significantly to put that kind of environment in place that can be conducive to producing good cricketers, and that's where I think the MCL is going to do a wonderful job of filling in that gap, where the experience and know-how of how to conduct a very high-level cricket tournament for the local cricketers comes into play, which is significantly lacking here. And I think people who are either playing cricket or stakeholders of the game here will really appreciate some of the tools and technologies and the mindset and the vision that the MCL is going to be providing.
And of course, you being a principal setup in that, I'm sure you're very happy for your fellow countrymen. One of the benefits of this is that the matches will be carried live on MAQ TV, and the young cricketers across in Pakistan will get an opportunity to showcase their talent across the world. Now the world has become such a small place when you think about opportunities and players traveling to play cricket. I think that this is an ideal opportunity for them to even end up, let's say, in Chicago to play cricket.
Absolutely. With the setup that is in place right now, I think cricket requires in America a lot of talented players, and yes, we have a lot of locally groomed talented players, but considering the sample size, the population, the amount of the pure amount of how much the game is played, there is just an abundance of talent in Pakistan that can be channeled through MCL into USA, especially with franchise cricket starting, US Open just becoming bigger and better every year, and several other tournaments that CCUSA puts out. I think that platform and that vision is just phenomenal to start something like that in Pakistan at this time.
I'm sure you will have your eyes, keenly fixed on players in Pakistan as well. You being one of the principal men in the Chicago Catchers setup for the minor league.
Yes, as part of my agenda of kind of staying and putting some good use of my non-working time, if you will, Vinod, to kind of go out and talk to the cricketing stakeholders, talk to some of the folks, bring in the idea of MCL to some of the local cricketers, explain to them how it can help, not just provide them a platform of improving their cricketing opportunities, but beyond that, their opportunities at life.
And of course, what has been the response to those you have spoken so far with in Pakistan towards the MCL?
Very exciting. Everybody is just, anything. There's a concept that we grew up and continue to grow up in Pakistan with, that America is a leader, right? Anything that comes from the US is well sorted, is well disciplined, it's well organized. So it's got instant credibility because it's made in the USA. And that's what we grew up with as children. Like when we went out to grab a pair of sneakers or buy a pair of denim, we used to go for things that are tag of made in America. So that mindset provides instant excitement and credibility for cricketers, because just the fact that it's a product that is coming from the USA, and then just considering for people who are in the know-how that this is a product of CCUSA, Cricket Council USA, it's even a little bit more exciting because everybody sees these amazing games, these players putting up a show in Fort Lauderdale every year, local cricketers rubbing shoulders with the likes of Chris Gale and Darren Bravo and all amazing cricketers, especially people like Faisal Iqbal, who's been a big advocate of CCUSA in the US, has already sowed the seed of that excitement for a lot of the cricketers that are looking forward to being part of MCL.
Well, that's great indeed. Of course, MCL is the way to go now in Pakistan for those cricketers who are not in the national setup. And there's an opportunity now to, showcase your talent to the world. There's so much money in cricket now. Cricket is big business, and you being a businessman, a successful Pakistani from the diaspora, you would understand that, the opportunity in terms of finance and in terms of the economics of the cricket that could go towards these players.
Yes, it's like any startup, right? It's got an interesting ROI cycle, right? It's a lot of investment upfront, but the benefits you reap in about 5 years or a decade, right? As you can imagine, being part of CCUSA for over a decade now, we've seen the brand grow. We've seen how the brand is now becoming a phenomenal force within the network of cricket, not just in the USA, but globally, which is just awesome, right? Because investments go in, and kudos to Mr. Qureshi for sticking with it, because it's so easy to give up because of the long ROI. But the fact that there are people like Mr. Qureshi who just stick with it, and they make this sport their passion, and to grow it their vision, that now it's time to reap some of those benefits. So it's great business in Pakistan, in USA, and all over the world.
Well, so far we've, in doing our rounds with our interviews, we're speaking to people who will potentially take up teams there in Pakistan, one of the franchises. We've had Saki Muhammad coming out, another great advocate of cricket in America, coming out to say that he will be taking up one of the teams. Are you confident that, all 6 teams will be taken up?
Oh, yes. I think there's going to be a waiting list, Vinod, because just the organization that MCL is being a part of, just the fact that cricket is just a crazy sport in Pakistan. Everybody wants to play it. Everybody wants to be part of it. And I've always felt that Saki Muhammad and the likes of MAQ Qureshi have a wonderful combined vision of taking cricket to the next level, and it can do wonderful things if they can find out some productive ways to work together, which I think MCL is going to be a great example of, right? So I'm very excited by the prospects of some enterprising Pakistanis in the USA and investing into cricket in the country of their birth.
Is there a possibility of the Kaira Corner being involved with one of the teams?
Unfortunately, Kaira Corner has been transitioned to new ownership, but we're looking at other ideas of expanding the brand. There is some amazing kadais in Pakistan. So if we did try to invest into cricket, it would be something along the lines of a steak and Reuben sandwich rather than kadais.
Okay, well, I find it very difficult to think that anyone can have better food than the Kaira Corner. But I'll take your word for it in Pakistan. My final question, Shiraz, for you is that, a word on MAQ Qureshi. He continues to be a visionary. He continues to, as you say, stay with the game. And I think a man like him, has really done so much for the sport. Your thoughts?
It's tough to summarize all of that in one word, Vinod. I think I'm going to use two words. I think I'm going to say resilience is the one word that I think is synonymous with Mr. Qureshi and his ability to stick with the program and continue to invest millions of dollars into the game for the benefit of the local cricketer. And that's something that a non-resilient person can do. Another word I'm going to use is misunderstood. Just by the fabric of the nature of the game, the politics around it, I think the good that Mr. Qureshi has done at a phenomenal level is many times misunderstood by a lot of stakeholders, either innocently or intentionally. And there is a lot of opportunity to go out and provide that clarity that this person has sacrificed time from his family, money from his empire, and most importantly, a good part of his life towards dedicating towards the development of the game as his passion. So, like all successful people, Mr. Qureshi is amazing in terms of providing this platform, and yet at the same time, there is always opportunities to provide clarity for the vision, and I think that's where many times he's been misunderstood.
Well, we want to thank you, Shiraz, for joining us all the way from Pakistan. We want to wish you continued success. Please be safe, and please give my regards to my very dear friend, Young Maha.
I shall do that. Thank you, Vinod, and best of luck. I hope it does not snow ever in the Caribbean, because that would mean that we're going towards the end of the world.
Okay, thanks a lot, my friend. Always a pleasure speaking to Shiraz Najam, very senior member of Cricket Council USA. He's all the way in Pakistan. We want to urge all of you to continue enjoying our programming here on MAQ TV, and look forward to the MCL. It will be right here on MAQ TV.